All human beings have pretended to use a banana as a gun at one point or another, especially as an adult. So I thought it'd be fun to bring this idea to fruition by first getting in touch with my ancestors and then somehow putting a firing mechanism inside our favorite potassium vessel. Now, my employer generally isn't a fan of homemade firearms, so my first thought was to use compressed air as the propulsion source. But unless I could find a 6-foot, 7-foot, or even 8-foot bunch of bananas, the air cannon was best suited at using the whole banana as a projectile, which does technically make it a banana gun.
3, 2, 1.
But I want the banana itself to be the gun, while still looking like a banana from the outside like this unit, which actually is just a banana, but you get the point. So to make this project really go bananas, I set aside the regular compressed air and bought some spicy compressed air, and the yellow tips on these blanks means they only work in banana-related applications. Lucky me. But now I've got to fit a trigger and a barrel and other parts inside of the banana, which is going to be quite the puzzle. Luckily for me, I've been training my puzzle skills on today's sponsor, the WoW Cube. The WoW Cube is a unique entertainment system that was designed specifically to expose my lack of spatial puzzle comprehension because I cannot for the life of me get this pipe to move to the right place. With 24 interactive screens, the WoW Cube probably gives me 24 times more dopamine than a lame single screen device. The inherently twisty nature of this cube trains my hand-eye coordination skills while consuming 100% of my brain power as I try to construct a safe track for my race car. This may be harder than actual racing. I can also control certain games just by tilting the cube, and after tilting myself, I can rage quit by violently shaking it, which is what I was going to do anyway, even if that weren't a feature. Not only does the WoW Cube have popular mobile games like 2048 or Cut the Rope, it also has widgets that keep me locked TF in on really important work. I even made my own app for the WoW Cube in less than 2 hours using the free dev kit, which I think really encompasses the cube's overall vibe. The WoW Cube is the perfect Christmas gift for people who like puzzles, love interesting technology, and want to put their critical thinking skills to the test. Head over to wowcube.com to order your own cube of the WoW variety for a limited time price and get it before Christmas 2025. Link is in the description below. Thanks to WoW Cube for sponsoring the video. Now back to working with the POW cylinder. I've never actually played with blanks before, and I was quite impressed with their tic-tac-toe skills, so I viced one for testing, but I clearly need to work on my hit that hoe skills because this was just embarrassing. Hitting the blank with big hammer was one thing, but I wanted to test it with small hammer, and surely this toy revolver won't perfectly fit a 22 cartridge into the chamber. Now there technically is a slight blockage in the chamber, been there many times myself, but with a little metal Miralax, I now have something I'll probably get in trouble for. I did try to fire the blank with the plastic hammer, but shockingly it wasn't powerful enough, so I professionally installed a firing pin and learned that blanks are actually kind of hard to make go boom. Especially when you hit everything except for the blank. Spanking these with a hammer was great and all, and that's actually how real G-Words do it too, but there was no way I could fit this in a banana, so I thought I could just cheat and use electricity. The primer in these things suffer from premature explosion at around the same temperature it takes to cook a Daddy M's pizza, so I always make sure to pick out any leftover blanks before putting it in the oven. But this means if I could get electrons hot and bothered enough, like shorting a wire between a 9-volt battery, I could potentially use potential to fire the banana. I first tried popping a cap in its keister in the riskiest game of pool I've played thus far, but no cigar. Now this is the equation for heat transfer, and I'm not sure what this garbage is, but this is clearly referencing the Dark Side of the Moon, with the T being the song Time. And everyone needs more time in their life, which means the blank needs more time to heat up properly. So I got out my yummy fume maker, dialed a toll-free number, and discovered that apparently you can solder anything you want onto a live blank and it won't go off.
What is going on here? How is that not?
After a full 60 seconds, I wrapped the blank in a blanket of wire, sent way too much current through the poor copper, and had the same reaction as TJ when Napoli offered to sell him the Louisiana Purchase for $7.
Whoa! Okay.
Now, for most bananas, having a 30-second delay between initial trigger pull and explosion is nothing to be ashamed about, but it isn't exactly ideal for a banana blamma, so back to old reliable. I wanted to see if 3D printed pieces would survive the blank, and I tried to show you where this firing pin goes, but my printer had a nasty little attitude and wouldn't stop moving. Once the blank was in place, I needed to choose an appropriate ammunition type for the potassium pew pew, and fortunately for me, the creators of Venus and Cruel Summer also happened to make these delicious hard banana candies, and initial testing in the big air cannon proved quite fruitful. So I loaded the barrel using a one for you, one for me technique and proceeded to smack that all on the floor.
3, 2, 1.
I finally got smart and put some tape across the barrel and tried again.
Okay, here we go.
In a surprise to absolutely nobody except for you, Cody, gunpowder is a little too spontaneous for plastic to handle. So I bought the 6,000th and 61st aluminum bar the foundry made that day and was going to start making all the parts I needed to build the phallic firearm when I realized this whole project actually would be considered a firearm, and YouTube would have a conniption fit if I showed you how to make it. So instead, I'll be using
Whoa!
You know what? Let's go back to the blank. I've just got to know what it does to a banana. Better yet, what would it do to the banana if it went off inside of it?
Oh, there we go.
Luckily for me, I came out unscathed, but I'll be finding little snacks hidden across my garage for all eternity. With my curiosity satiated, I went back to the forbidden suppositories and wanted to see what would happen if one went off whilst performing its medical duties.
3, 2, 1.
Well, you'd probably be able to run faster. I then printed this test piece in the hopes that it wouldn't explode when the 800 psi's came out of the CO2 canister, and after accidentally abusing my vice a couple of times, I now had the pleasure of playing Bomb Diffusing Simulator, but in real life.
3, 2, 1.
I was pretty happy with that amount of airflow, and there were even some suspicious banana-shaped impact sites in the cardboard, so the next step is to somehow take all of this and fit it inside of a banana. Should be pretty easy, right? Well, it actually was pretty easy to make this spring-loaded design that didn't work at all. But after a little coaxing from a bar of the black avian variety, I had accidentally invented a crappy fog machine, so I guess that's something. My next iterations required me to be the spring, but the best result I got was it slowly mouth-breathing cold air on me, and I was about to scrap this entire design when this happened. After properly thanking the CO2 gods, I redesigned the internal machinations anyway, which were quite the enigma, and had my most satisfying blowout thus far.
3, 2, 1.
Oh!
I go more in depth on the boring technical details of my design woes and iterations over on my Patreon, and I also do weekly vlogs over there covering a large variety of topics and projects, so please check that out if you think your boat would float from it. Anyway, this is the final design I came up with, and it looks like it should be in a Willy Wonka book, accompanied with the saying, "There's a banooter blooter in my tutor, Sam I am," or something along those lines. I karate chopped this one perfectly in half to explain in detail how it all works. When you press this thingy, it moves this thingy. And with initial testing showing promising results, it was time for a little bit of surgery.
Scalpel, doctor. Thank you. In peace. Bottle. We're losing him. We're losing him. Crash cart! Nipples. Where are your nipples? Show me your nipples.
Alright, the surgery wasn't actually that dramatic, and I'm pretty sure bananas don't even have nipples, but they do have tasty insides, which makes me wonder if a real surgeon has ever snuck in a quick snack during a procedure. I used a little bit of clear tape to close up the patient, and for my first ever surgery, I thought it wasn't half bad. And now, it was finally time to test out the banana gun.
Firing banana gun in 3, 2, 1. That was really disappointing.
This was a major letdown. The air didn't even go out the front of the banana. I made a couple more final designs which seemed to help concentrate the pressurized air, especially with this smaller nozzle. But I didn't want to embarrass myself like this again, so I really wanted to send this metal ball bearing through some cardboard to prove my banana blaster was ready. Multiple tests and another final design later, I couldn't find any damage done to the boxes, and so I sat down to eat a big bowl of honey nut failures and reminisce about what could have been, when I realized this project was really never about making the banana a dangerous weapon. I just wanted to capture the childhood dream of having the banana in your hand go off in a spectacular way. Plus, none of this really matters. I mean, I'm firing off a CO2 cartridge inside of a banana for crying out loud. And after getting a bunch or two of nanners and some CO2 cartridges, I performed another lobotomy, and this time was sure the front of the banana would explode with air. I thought the firing mechanism maybe wasn't working properly, but after 3 mostly banana-less tests, it seemed to be working fine. So I loaded up yet another banana, hoping the first was a fluke.
This is gonna be the one. Gonna lose my mind. Perhaps I overreacted.
It was pretty clear that this wasn't going to work inside of the banana, but I wanted to see if this thing had any range at all. So I set up a target roughly 5 to 7 feet away, and after accidentally conducting a favorite Jewish pastime, I invented a new type of ammo called the slug shot.
1. Did I miss? 3, 2, 1. Oh!
The slug shot was actually successful, and I'd imagine getting hit by it would indeed feel like getting hit by a slug at a high rate of speed. Next up, I loaded these hard banana candies, and this time had a more appropriate target.
3, 2, 1. Yeah, might have overreacted on that one too.
One newly printed piece later, it was time for the final shotgun test, and if this didn't work, then I'm not sure what to do.
3, 2, 1.
There comes a time in every man's life when he realizes that he is not in control of his life. The banana is, and invariably has been. The banana is an omnipotent being, always watching, observing me complete my pathetic, futile experiments, waiting for me to realize that I cannot improve upon an already perfected vessel. Who am I to question mankind's place as a lowly servant to the banana? Who am I to think my unclean soul could change the godly internals of our overlords? Who am I to do anything other than worship our faultless rulers? So who am I? I'm the one that will set us free.